Mateus and Leo were inseparable friends since they were kids. They had grown up in the same neighborhood, attending the same schools, and sharing the same passions. Their friendship had survived everything: childhood arguments, teenage dramas, and even the uncertainties of young adulthood. They were more like brothers than friends, with a bond that seemed unbreakable. Together, they had created countless memories that now felt like cherished treasures. And every year, they made a new promise to each other: to stay connected, to keep adventuring, to always have each other's back. Their biggest dream as children was to climb Hawks Peak, the tallest mountain in the area. From a young age, they'd stare at it from afar, fantasizing about the day they'd reach its summit. Hawks Peak became a symbol of their bond, representing all the challenges they wanted to conquer in life. On their last day of high school, standing in the schoolyard, they made a solemn vow. One day, they would climb Hawks Peak together. It would be their greatest adventure, a mark of their friendship, and a tribute to the years they had spent side by side. Years passed. Life, as it often does, took them in different directions. Mateus went off to university in the city, pursuing a degree in engineering, while Leo stayed closer to home and began working as a teacher at a local school. Their busy schedules, new responsibilities, and the distance between them made it harder to keep in touch, but they tried. There were occasional calls and messages, each one filled with stories, laughter, and the familiar comfort of old friends. But as time went on, those calls became less frequent. Their lives were changing, and though they still cared deeply for each other, they found themselves caught up in their separate worlds. But neither of them forgot about the promise they had made. The idea of climbing Hawks Peak remained with them, a shared goal that quietly lingered in the background. Every once in a while, they would mention it, each conversation a reminder of the bond that still connected them, no matter how much time had passed or how far apart they lived. One day, out of the blue, Mateus received a message from Leo. It was a simple text, but it instantly reignited a spark inside him. "How about that climb? Are you ready?" Mateus stared at the message, memories flooding back. He could see the younger versions of themselves, standing in the schoolyard with wide-eyed dreams, and he felt a surge of excitement. Without hesitation, he replied, "Absolutely. Let's do it." They set a date for the following weekend, each of them feeling the anticipation build with each passing day. When the weekend arrived, Mateus packed his hiking gear and drove back to their hometown. As he approached the town, he felt a wave of nostalgia. So much had changed since he'd last been there, yet it still felt like home. He parked near the entrance to Hawks Peak and waited, scanning the path for his old friend. Soon, he saw Leo walking toward him, looking much the same, but with a few more lines on his face and a newfound maturity in his gaze. They greeted each other with laughter and a long hug, both of them marveling at how quickly the years had flown by. Together, they began their ascent up Hawks Peak. The trail was steep, lined with dense trees, winding through rocky passages and scenic overlooks. It was just as challenging as they had imagined it would be. They took their time, encouraging each other through each difficult section. As they climbed, they talked about their lives, their careers, and the things they had faced over the years. They shared stories of triumphs and losses, fears and dreams, regrets and hopes. With every step, they felt the weight of the years melt away, as if they were teenagers again, with nothing but a mountain to conquer. However, halfway up the trail, they noticed dark clouds gathering on the horizon. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and a light drizzle began to fall. They considered turning back, but neither of them wanted to give up. They were determined to fulfill the promise they had made so many years ago. They continued to climb, hoping the storm would pass. The drizzle turned into a heavy rain, making the path slippery and treacherous. They had to slow down, carefully navigating the rocks and roots that lined the trail. Just as they were approaching a steep section, Leo slipped, twisting his ankle. The pain was sharp and immediate. He winced, trying to stand, but quickly realizing he couldn't put any weight on his foot. Mateus rushed to his side, helping him sit down and assessing the situation. It was clear that Leo wouldn't be able to continue. Mateus insisted they turn back, but Leo shook his head. "We didn't come all this way just to give up," he said with a determined look. "You go on without me. I'll wait here." Mateus hesitated, torn between his desire to stay and his desire to honor the promise they had made. He knew how much this climb meant to Leo, and he understood why his friend wanted him to continue. With a heavy heart, he agreed, promising to return as soon as he reached the top. Mateus continued alone, his friend's encouragement echoing in his mind. The rain pelted down, and the wind howled, but he pressed on, feeling both the physical strain of the climb and the emotional weight of leaving Leo behind. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he reached the summit. He stood at the top, soaked and exhausted, gazing out over the vast landscape below. A mix of triumph and sadness filled him. He had fulfilled their promise, but his friend wasn't there to share the moment. As he turned to begin his descent, a strange feeling of urgency gripped him. He hurried back down the mountain, his thoughts focused entirely on Leo. He navigated the slippery trail, ignoring his own exhaustion, until he finally reached the spot where he had left his friend. There, under the shelter of a tree, was Leo, shivering but smiling. Mateus felt a rush of relief as he helped Leo to his feet, supporting him as they slowly made their way down the mountain together. In that moment, they both understood something profound. Their friendship wasn't defined by how often they saw each other or how frequently they spoke. It was defined by the loyalty, the shared memories, and the unspoken understanding that had always been there. They didn't need to climb a mountain to prove their bond, but the journey had reminded them of its strength. As they finally reached the base of the mountain, drenched and exhausted, they shared a look of gratitude, each of them silently acknowledging the journey that had brought them back together. They knew that life would continue to pull them in different directions. There would be other mountains, other challenges, and countless miles between them. But they also knew that no matter where life took them, their friendship would remain unbreakable. Thank you for watching Mateus and Leo's story. If this story inspired you, please give it a like and share it with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more meaningful stories like this. And hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our latest videos.